Hello, 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 and welcome. My name is Carrie Mitten, and I am the founder of Uplevel Your Life Consulting. And I founded Uplevel Your Life Consulting because I wanted to create a space where women could feel safe while they grow into who they're called to be, to uplevel their life, truly live a life that they love, move past the limiting beliefs into who they're being called to be. And because many of us are, find ourselves seeking more, yet not really sure how to get there. That's exactly where I was. So let me ask you, are you someone who pours into others, but not yourself? Are you someone that loves when everyone around you is happy, even at the sake of your own true happiness? Are you someone that fills your calendar full and then freaks out because you don't have time for yourself? Are you someone who thinks that self-care is selfish? Well, let me just tell you something. I completely understand because that's exactly where I was. You see, I raised two children, and while they were young, I spent every waking hour making sure I was attentive to their needs. I mean, that's what we do as moms, right? I cooked for them, they cleaned, I kept the house for them, I bathed them, I did what I was supposed to do. And then they became, young adults, and I was constantly running them from their sports practices and games and taking them to friends' houses or events. Now, even as full grown adults, I find myself still more interested in their care than mine. And one day, when I was back at my son's school for the third time that day, taking him his football cleats that he had forgotten that day, I pulled to the side of the road and I realized that I had lost myself. I mean, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually lost. I couldn't identify with myself. My identity was attached to what my family was. I had someone ask me, "How are you doing, Carrie?" And I said, "Oh, the kids are great. Husband is great. Dogs are great." But I couldn't answer the question about me. I didn't know the answer. I was lost. I remember as a teen, I had some big dreams to be an artist, to go to France, to paint, travel the world, and make an impact. And one night at dinner, my mom and dad and I were talking about colleges and where I was going to go to attend. And my dad asked me, "What are you going to study in school, Carrie?" And I replied with so much aliveness and vibrancy. I said, "Daddy, I want to be an artist and I want to make an impact in the world." And he smiled and he said, "You know, you won't make any money doing that, right, Carrie?" Now, he certainly didn't mean that to be harmful, but what I heard him say was, "You'll never have success." So I set out on my life's path, lost. And I found myself living out the belief that whatever I did personally, I would never be a success. So I helped other people around me become successful. I poured into others, helping them to rise to the top, while I remained stuck in the default patterns of my life. Does this sound familiar to you at all? I was going along doing what I do when my life started to take a turn. My husband and I were quarreling almost every night. My son was turning to recreational drugs and failing school. My daughter was no longer talking to me, and I started drinking too much wine every night to drown out what was happening. This was my self-care coping mechanism. But I was in a downward spiral. I was scared. I was frightened for my life, scared for my mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual experience or existence. Then one day, a friend said something to me that shook me to my bones. She said, "Carrie, you cannot pour from an empty cup." Wow. I mean, this dropped me to my knees. I realized that I was an empty cup. So, what was I pouring into my family, emptiness, sorrow, anger, grief. I knew, however, that there was a purpose for me, a plan, that this was not all there was to life. I felt the calling for something more. So there was a moment in time where I drew a line in the sand and I decided to get some help. And I'd been through therapy, and that did was uncover the archaeology of my life, going up and digging up past hurts, family stuff. I was looking for new architecture, something to build a new foundation on solid, firm ground. I knew at this point that I tried it Lone Ranger style to do this on my own, and it wasn't working. I knew I needed help finding out what that plan was. And I began to do some research into life coaching. That's when I came across the Dream Builder program and that I'm now certified to teach in and coach my clients. And I dove right into it. I discovered that there's a beautiful, repeatable, reliable system for turning the desires of your heart into the landscape of your reality to truly fill your cup so your cup can run over. I applied these principles with the help of my coach, and I'm now living the life I truly love. I love my life. I pour into my family and friends, rich, beautiful, meaningful parts of me that I've discovered and have fallen in love with. I learned to take care of me first, and all else will fall into a much better place. I am the architect of my life. So, what are your thoughts and beliefs about self-care? Mine was, well, I'm fine. I don't need that. It's luxurious. It's expensive. I can do it myself. I can't afford the luxury. The way the world views self-care, in my opinion, now that I know better, is completely backward. First, that self-care is primarily for women. Generally, women who can't afford the goods and services that are marketed as self-care. Subtly, though, the suggestion is that women need to be reminded to take care of themselves because they're so busy taking care of everyone else. And second, the second view is that self-care is categorized as indulgent. Think exotic spa retreats, luxurious chocolates, expensive bath products. Both of these are just not true. Self-care does not need to be expensive or cost a dime. See, these views carry a stigma, and this keeps people from creating a safe space for self-care. Here's the true definition of self-care. The practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health, and the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during periods of stress. You see, self-care is not indulgent. Self-care is self-love. Self-care is a discipline. It requires mental toughness and prioritization of you and how you choose to spend your life. Self-care is saying no to that extra cocktail at the dinner party, or declining an invitation when you don't feel like going, listening to that still small voice, turning the TV off to read a book, doing work that matters, letting other people take care of themselves, being aware of who you are and what matters to you. And self-love requires us to take a closer look inward so that we have an awareness of the love we allow in our lives. So if you're in for the possibility of creating something even more amazing in your life, go ahead, touch your heart and say, I'm in. I'm in. Yes. Declare that. So today, my promise to you is that I'm going to give you everything I can in the time that we have together. And you may want to learn to take this further. So I have a special gift that I'll be giving to you at the end of this presentation. And I know that you're going to love it. All right. So let's start off by doing an exercise together. I invite you to take a look through a window into yourself to raise your awareness of the self-love that you allow. The window that we're going to be using is called the Johari window, and it was first used by Abraham Maslow. It was in his work to help people discover how to live in their deepest and fullest potentiality. Maslow was actually most interested in people who reported that they loved their life. He wanted to better understand what was at work in people who had a deep, powerful love for life, regardless of the circumstances. So this is a picture that Abraham Maslow developed as if we were to stand outside ourselves and look at ourselves through a window. And this is going to help us get a picture of our ability to both love others and love ourselves. So I invite you to draw the square with the 4 quadrants and label each square as I've indicated here. You're going to do this exercise along with me in your journal. So let me explain to you what these quadrants are. First of all, the open window. The open window is a part of you that you're willing to let others see. The part of you that's transparent and open. The size of that window, that open window, varies. Some people are blocked for fear of disapproval from others and don't allow their windows to be open. The hidden or the private window, this is a part of you that you don't let others see. It might be secret fears, it might be fantasies, it might be certain things that you don't let other people know about. And quite frankly, some things should be kept private. You're not meant to let everybody know everything about you. So the left side is everything that you know about yourself. So ask yourself, how open am I? It's not ideal to be 100% open. A healthy person has a reserve of certain things that are just for themselves, and those maybe they're closest to. So if your hidden private window is over 20 to 30%, you've got a whole lot going on that a lot of people don't know about. So take a self-assessment. How open are you? How much do you keep hidden? Again, if you have more than 20 to 30% hidden or private, ask yourself, has that created an experience of loving yourself and others in a way that's produced a life that's deep, powerful, alive-making, and fluid? Where we're blocked for fear of others' disapproval, we're blocked from the love of God. And we're blocked from living a life we love. We don't have to create more love. We just need to learn to open to the love that's here, to presence love. Because the flow of love requires openness. So the right side, this is the blind quadrant. This is what others see about you that you don't see. All of us have blind spots. That's why we need each other. It's not negative. It's just that the nature of us needing one another as reflective support systems for helping each other wake up. So how much of your blind box would you be willing to know about? And then your unknown potential. This is the reservoir of all that is already you, but is yet undiscovered. You don't know exactly what it is, nor does anybody else. It's in the unknown area, but its potential, its power, its presence. So the right side, ask yourself, how do I open up my blind areas? Well, the way that you do that is you ask for loving feedback from people that you trust. Be open to receiving the loving feedback. You and I are not going to be perfect in our loving, but there is a perfect love that is within each one of us. Asking someone to help us see our blind areas opens us to a greater flow and presence of love. So here's where the magic is. So put a horizontal dotted line where you think your open window actually extends. So draw this all the way across the box. So depending on how much open you feel your window is, how much you allow other people to see about you. So put that vertical line to the right, the center line, all the way through the blind box, showing how much you'd be willing to see about yourself. Now, oops, excuse me, that was horizontal. Now the vertical line, the dotted line, right, it starts at the top. Oops, excuse me. Let me advance this. The vertical line starts at the top, the blind box, showing how much you'd be willing to see about yourself. Okay, draw this line all the way from the bottom to the bottom of the box. Now the horizontal dotted line and the vertical dotted line automatically intersect. Does yours intersect within the box of the unknown potential? Sorry, that's my calendar going off. So the more open you are, the more willing you are to see your blind areas, the more you'll be able to tap into and open up your unknown potential. So without judgment, take a look at where it is now and notice that even if you moved it just a tiny bit, the amount of unknown potential that is released in your life can be exponential. So ask yourself, where can I be more open? How can I open myself to a greater understanding of my blind areas? Am I open to loving feedback? You see, self-love is what enables us to be more open. Self-love is what gives me the willingness to open up to you and share with you what may have been hidden inside of me. Self-love is what gives me the willingness to turn to you and say, would you be willing to give me feedback? You see, when we open ourselves up, we open ourselves up to the love of God. So know this, self-care equals self-awareness equals self-love. So that's one tool to open ourselves up to self-care, is being able to open to self-love. But how do we increase our self-awareness still? By knowing who we are. You see, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So for a moment, I just want you to notice your feet touching the ground. Notice your shoes on your feet or your lack of shoes. Notice the clothing touching your skin on your body. Notice the back touching your chair. Just notice your body. Notice the air on your face. Notice your body. Now ask yourself, what is it that can notice my body but isn't my body? Well, that's the spiritual side of your nature. That's the spirit inside of you. We all have a finite side, which has a birth date and an end date. I like to say way out there is the end date. But we also have the infinite side. Oops, excuse me. The infinite side of our nature. The Bible says, I knew you before you were born. That's the infinite side of our nature. And this infinite spiritual side is connected to the source of your power within you. That power woke you up this morning. You didn't, but the power breathing you did. You can call that power by many names. I call it God. People call it universal intelligence, universe, love, whatever that is. But the same power that woke you up today is the power that co-creates a life with you every day. You see, we don't get a choice to breathe every day. We do get a choice to create and how we show up for the day. And we're creating every single moment of every single day. Our life is a string of moments together. But just feel the power of that. We get to choose how we show up today. And the Talmud, which is an ancient Jewish script, says every blade of grass has an angel over it saying, grow, grow, grow. And that blade of grass will cut through cement seeking the light. We're on the same journey. Life itself is seeking a freer, fuller, more expanded expression through us. This human body is life's expression. And since we're breathing and creating a new baby day, why not create something beautiful? Unfortunately, many of us get stuck in the default patterns of our lives because that gravitational pull to the familiar is so strong. My mentor says, some people live 90 years, some people live 1 year 90 times. So if we're fortunate enough to live and create another day, create a life, why not create something we love? And although we're spiritual beings, we tend to navigate from the human plane of existence because it's physical and it's tangible. And that's where we get stuck at our stuff, in the conditions and the circumstances of our lives. But you see, we're called into a life of greatness, a freer, fuller, more expanded expression, not mediocrity, not to live our lives in a default pattern based on the current circumstances or conditions of our life, which are malleable to our existence. They change. Our circumstances change over time. But the truth of who we are never changes. So notice that life sends us two signals. These two signals are growth signals, the signs that we're growing. These are our longings and our discontents. Our longings are those things that we haven't yet acquired or accomplished, and discontents are the things that we're currently uncomfortable with. I know these two signals as the echo of God's calling on my life to grow. So we notice and we get to pay attention to these signals. The pain or discontent we feel and the longing for something more. Dr. Reverend Michael Beckwith says, we are often pushed by pain until we're pulled by a vision. And these two signals, the pain of our problem or our circumstance and the burning desire for what we want, are essential for growth. Until my life started taking a downward spiral, did I come to realize that the spinning out of control was because I didn't have a vision for my life, or I hadn't clearly defined it yet. But there was a pull for my next level of becoming, life-seeking expression through me, and a calling that was greater than my circumstance. So for now, I want to talk to you about how that point of power within us works. We've heard that energy goes where energy flows. Well, it all starts with your thoughts, or what I like to call the thoughts formula. So hang with me here. Our thoughts create our feelings, and you know this. So when you start to think about going to the beach, you feel happy, right? Or when you think scary thoughts, your heart beats faster. When you think of all the things left on your to-do list, you feel stressed and overwhelmed. Your thoughts affect your physiology. And then your feelings are expressed into action. So try this out. Put on the physical posture, facial expression of someone who's depressed, right? Shoulders down, frowning. Unfortunately, we all know how to do that, right? Now shake that off and put on the body posture of someone who's confident, happy, just had a major success, shoulders up, heads held high, smiling. Most of us know how to do that too. You see, our feelings are expressed into our actions. When we feel confident, when we feel energized, we take different action steps than when we feel depressed or frustrated or sad. And then our actions cause our results. We'll have much different results if we're happy and excited than depressed or sad. Would you agree? So your thoughts cause your feelings cause your actions, and your actions cause your results. This, my friends, is the law of cause and effect. Yet most people don't get it. Most people look at their results. They look at their circumstances, their conditions, and they call those their causes. Actually, they're too smart to call them their causes. They call them their B causes. I can't start a new career because I'm too old, or because I'll lose all my benefits. I can't take time off because I don't have the money, or I don't have vacation time. My boss won't let me. I can't find the love of my life because I'm not young enough, fit enough, attractive enough. I can't because. Where the cause of all of our results is right here in our thoughts. Your results are caused by what you've been thinking. So if you want to know what you've been thinking, look at your results, because results never lie. So if we want to create new results in our lives, then we must begin by looking at our thinking, where our thinking comes from, and how our minds create a thought. So I'm blessed to speak to many different groups and organizations, and so often at live events outside of COVID. And often after the presentation, someone will come back to the back to find me or reach out to me and say that they lead another group or organization and ask if they can hire me to come to their group and present, which I'm always happy to do. And whenever I go to a group or organization, one of the exercises I have them do is this one. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to look around the room and see everything in the color red. Ready? Go. Try to remember everything that's red in the room. Look at the color red. Look for everything red. Look around and find the red in your room. Look for the red. Look for the red. Now stop. Now close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, bring to mind everything that's blue in the room. Did you see more red than blue? Of course you did. Now open your eyes back up and look at your room and look and see you can now see all the things blue in your room. You see more blue things now, right? Why does this happen? There's an area in our brain called the reticular activating system. And its job is to mediate our overall level of consciousness or awareness. In other words, the reticular activating system's job is to bring into our awareness what it is that we're looking for and filter out our awareness what we're not looking for. So what we pay attention to, we will see. Seek and ye shall find. Yeah. Most of us were taught to focus on our thoughts on what's reasonable, what's safe, why we can't, what's missing, what problems we might face, why it won't work. If we want to change our results, we have to start by changing our focus. It was Henry Ford who said, obstacles are those frightful things we see when we take our eyes off of our goal. Highly successful people begin with the end in mind. They know the outcome. They become clear in what it is they really want, because where your attention goes, energy flows. You begin to see resources and opportunities that you would have otherwise missed. So let's learn to expand our awareness for the success in the area of life that matters to you. We have 4 major domains in our life: health and well-being, love and relationships, vocation, and time and money freedom. Excuse me. And every one of us has results in these areas of life. You see, remember, the results that you're getting in your life, these are a perfect reflection of your awareness in these areas. Remember, self-care equals self-awareness, which leads to self-love. So let's unlock our imagination with a simple yet highly calibrated question. What would I love? Just ask yourself, what would I love? You see, you receive different answers inside yourself when you ask, what would I love, compared to, well, what do I think I can do? Well, what does the economy say I can do? What does my current situation say I can do? What do other people think I should do? Howard Thurman, Dr. Martin Luther King's mentor, said, don't ask what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go do that. Because the world needs people who have come alive. So for a moment, lean into the question, what would I love in this area of my life? So I'm going to take you through a process called the time machine. So for the purpose of this exercise and our focus today, we're going to work with our health and well-being domain. This is where self-care resides. You can always do the other 3 another time, but for today, let's work on our health and well-being. So right now, imagine you're getting into a time machine and traveling 3 years into the future, and 3 years from now, everything is completely worked out. And I use 3 years because if we said 1 year, your subconscious mind would say, well, you didn't do that last year, so what makes you think you can do it this year? So 3 years is far enough away that the subconscious mind can't yell at you. So now take a pen and a paper and write at the top, I'm so happy and grateful now that. Write this statement at the top of your page, your journal. And what we're going to do now is consider the results that we're currently experiencing in the health and well-being domain of our lives. This is where our self-care resides. So I'm going to offer some prompts for you to consider to inspire your thinking about your results. So consider these prompts. You might be a person who feels stuck in your ability to transform your health. You might be a person who's had relatively good health, no symptoms, but you know that there's more vibrancy and aliveness you could feel. You might be a person who's told yourself, if only I could lose the weight, get more fit, sustain the results long term. You might be a person who wants to heal from a chronic health issue so you can really live your life. You might be a person who suffers from fatigue, insecurity, low self-confidence, because you've not taken care of your mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual well-being, because you're not sure how to do it without spending a ton of money. On a scale of 1 to 5, how satisfied are you with your current health and well-being results? 1 being not satisfied at all, 5 being completely satisfied. Go ahead and make a note of that number in your journal. Now, I invite you to pay attention to your thoughts around these results. It's not a place for judgment or blame. Your results are not good or bad, right or wrong. They just are what they are at this point in your life. And you're likely feeling a pull from more of or less of something, which is the signal that part of you is ready to do something different to get different results. We spoke about this earlier today. This is noticing your longing and discontent. Your longing and your discontent. You're paying attention to and you're noticing what you would love more of or less of in your life. Now, let me ask you this. How long have you felt this discontentment? How long has this area of your life been sending you signals? Now ask yourself, what is maintaining this result costing you? What is it costing you to have this ongoing discontent in your life? If someone feels stuck in transforming their health, it could literally be costing them the money in their savings account to pay medical bills. Or it could be costing them joy and happiness of feeling physically flexible and fit enough to run and play with their children or grandchildren. So you can see how a cost in one area of your life could lead to costs in another area. So I'll give you a few moments. Just write down a few sentences about how long you've been feeling this longing or discontent and what it's been costing you. Go ahead and take 30 seconds and write that down. Here are 2 important points I'd like to make. We receive these signals of longing and discontent so that we can address them before they get even worse. If a tap on the shoulder doesn't get your attention, then we might wind up getting a 2x4 to the forehead. So now is the time to listen to that part of us that's ready to make a change to get different results. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And the second point is really good news. And this is that your history does not determine your destiny. So whatever results you've had up until now, you have the power within you from this moment forward to create the results you love. And it all starts here with your thoughts, to make a decision. So in a moment, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write down what you would love in this area of your life. And I encourage you to suspend any urge to figure out how this result is going to happen. Highly successful people suspend the how and have the end in mind. This is simply, what would you love, as if someone gave you a magic wand and you could create exactly what you wanted. So I invite you to give yourself permission to dream like when you were a child, where nothing is impossible. No dream is too big. So dream big here. Now I invite you to take a breath, close your eyes if you want. Imagine it's 3 years from today. Everything worked out. All the challenges are solved. What is the image of your health and well-being? How do you feel in your mind and your body and your soul? What activities are you engaging in? What type of foods do you eat? What does your skin look like? What is your weight? What would you love? If you couldn't fail, what would you love to be doing? What experiences are you having? Who are you with? I invite you to see it and feel it and sense it. Now open your eyes, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes and write as much as you can in your journal, painting a beautiful picture of the life that you're imagining. Go ahead and take the 2 minutes now. One minute left. Thirty seconds. Awesome. Pens down. Well done. Congratulations. You're on your way to living the life you truly love living, taking care of yourself, pouring into you so you can pour out to others. This is a very important step for your self-care routine, creating a vision for your life. Most people spend more time planning a weekend trip than they do planning their life. So you might be asking, how do I bring this vision into reality? How do I truly start to live this life and take care of myself first while everything around me is telling me that I can't? It's not possible. Well, there's a whole process that I take my clients through in the dream building program. But for today, I'm going to give you 2 things, actually 3 things that you can do to start building your dream and bringing it into reality. So do you remember when I told you that the point of power is within you? And that point of power is greater than anything outside of you, any of your circumstances, situations, or conditions. It's important that you connect with that side of you that's infinite in nature and knows what to do next. And the first way to do that is with your breath. So we breathe in, we pause. When we notice contraction in our body, we pause, we breathe in through our nose, sending a safety signal to our nervous system, and we blow out like we're blowing through a straw. And we do this a couple of times. Until we go from a parasympathetic nervous system to a sympathetic nervous system, where we go from fight, flight, or freeze to rest, digest, and create. where we bring everything into the here and the now and the present moment. And that's where we connect with that power. Another way to do this, to connect with that power is, or to bring your vision into reality, is to create affirmations. So affirmations, anything that you put after the I am statement is your future reality. So watch this video with me. I love this little girl.
Look, I can be a shark. Now my whole house is great. I can do anything good. I like my school. I like anything. I like my dad. I like my cousins. I like my aunts. I like my Allisons. I like my mom. I like my sisters. I like my dad. I like my hair. I like my hair. I like my haircuts. I like my pajamas. I like my stuff. I like my rooms. I like my whole house. My whole house is great. I can do anything good. Yeah. I can do anything good.
I love this little girl. She's doing affirmations. She's reminding herself how awesome she is and how everyone around her is awesome and how grateful she is for everything that she has. You see, affirmations are mantras that tell ourselves to shift our old thinking and create new patterns of belief. You see, our subconscious mind doesn't know right from wrong, good from bad. It just knows what the conscious mind tells it. The conscious mind is the gatekeeper. In the early 1800s, there was a doctor by the name of Emile Couillet, and he believed that if you include what he called autosuggestion with medical treatment, that his patients would be cured quicker. So he prescribed medicine and an affirmation to say daily, several times a day, every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better, to his patients. And the patients who said this affirmation and believed it healed much quicker than the patients who did not. So we get to tell our subconscious mind a different, more empowering story when we create affirmations. So the best way to create affirmations, they speak in the present tense and of what you want, not what you don't want. An approach goal rather than an avoidance goal. So we don't want to say I don't want to be this weight. We say I am at my perfect physical size and weight. I use daily affirmations. Remember my limiting belief I had about never being successful. So I use an affirmation. I am a successful entrepreneur who has the resources I deserve to build my business in a way that feels good to me and benefits others. This is the one that I use, on a daily basis when that old limiting belief starts to show its head. Another one that I use when I have lots to do and, I'm feeling the busyness of my day, I say everything that is required is being accomplished or completed in a relaxed and easy manner that feels really good to me and for the highest good of all. You see, with our self-care, self-love practice, affirmations are a vital part to reprogramming those old limiting beliefs we've had held captive for so long. So I have a list of affirmations that I'm going to go through and just notice what resonates with you. You may want to say these aloud with me. Number one, I create a safe and secure space for myself wherever I am. Number two, I give myself permission to do what is right for me. 3, I'm confident in my ability to fill in the blank. 4, I use my time and talents to help others. Fill in the blank. 5, what I love about myself is my ability to fill in the blank. 6, I feel proud of myself when I fill in the blank. 7, I give myself space to grow and to learn. Number 8, I allow myself to be who I am without judgment. Number 9, I listen to my intuition and trust my inner guide. 10, I accept my emotions and let them serve their purpose. 11, I give myself the care and attention that I deserve. 12, my drive and ambition allow me to achieve my goals. 13. I share my talents with the world by fill in the blank. 14. I am good at helping others. So I just lost my, there we go. So create an affirmation that works for you, and begin to reprogram your subconscious mind to move in that direction. So just take 30 seconds now and write down one that resonates with you. Awesome. So the next tool that's necessary in order to bring your self-care vision into your reality is to take an action step. See, action provides a channel for the manifestation to be expressed. We can't just sit and hope and wish for our life to change. We have to take action that's in harmony with the vision that we created. So look at your vision for health and well-being and ask yourself, what action step can I take to move me towards my vision? Don't let yourself off the hook here. There's absolutely some step you can take. So what's that next step for you? And remember, do what you can with what you have from where you are. Inspiration without action is purely entertainment. So act on your inspiration today. There's great success with speed of implementation. Act on it today. And once you make a decision, know that providence moves too. All sorts of ideas and resources and opportunities will come into your awareness that you would have never otherwise noticed. The Latin root of the word decide is decidere, which means to cut away. So when you make a decision to go after your dream, there may be some things that you get to cut away from or out of your life that no longer serve your vision. And one more thing. Many of us get caught up in the overwhelm of too many things to do and not enough time to do them. So if that's you, remember, we are not in servitude of our calendar. Our calendar is in servitude of us. So allow your calendar to be something that brings you joy, not stress. When you calendar something, put a by when date, that removes the worry of that thing getting done and that release of energy, that energy leak. So put what brings you joy in your calendar first. Fill your cup first. Put on your oxygen mask first. So take 30 seconds and write down the action step. Next to the action step, write down a by when date. When are you going to take this action step? Go ahead and take 30 seconds to do that now. So ironically, when you truly take care of yourself, exercising all the tools and disciplines, you're actually in a much stronger place to give of yourself to those around you. You'll be able to pour from a full cup. You'll be a happier parent, a more grateful spouse, a fully engaged colleague. Those who take care of themselves have the energy to take care of others joyfully because that caregiving doesn't come at their own expense. And those who take care of themselves also have the energy to work with meaning and purpose towards a worthy goal, which means they're also the people most likely to make the world a better place for all of us. So let's recap what we talked about. First, that we get to take a look inside to how we truly feel about ourselves. We did this with the Johari Window, and we asked ourselves, how open and aware am I to love's presence? We created a vision for what we would love in the area of health and well-being, knowing that all successful people begin with the end in mind. And we looked at affirmations and how they retrain our subconscious mind. And we wrote down an action step that's in service of the life that we love living. So let me ask you, do you feel like you've connected with these ideas? And if you really implemented them, that they would make a difference in your life? Yes, of course. Awesome. So I'm going to share with you a story, but first let me give you a gift. As promised at the beginning of the presentation, I have a special gift if you're ready to take action on your dream. This is your next action step. Between my speaking and my coaching schedule, I carve out some time each week for what I call discovery sessions. A discovery session is a 45-minute Zoom conversation where we get crystal clear on exactly where you are, what you would love to create, and the next most important step you can take that will move you in that direction. This one-to-one session is valued at $250. Now, you may know that you're ready to invest in achieving your dream, making the changes in your life. So here's your next step. Some one-to-one time together with me on the Zoom call where we can invest in you, your dream, and discover the path for how you can get there. And I'm offering you this discovery session completely complimentary, no charge. It's my gift to you. So here's what we're going to do. I'm posting, or here's a QR code that you can scan with your phone, or you can simply go back to the email that I sent to you that has my calendar link. If you scan this QR code, it will take you directly to my calendar link. Now, there's limited spots. It's first come, first serve. So remember the power of taking action and the speed of implementation. Make sure you do it before the end of this presentation because nothing changes when it's comfortable and convenient. Great things happen on the other side of comfortable and convenient. And when you say you do it later, there is a really awful cousin called never. So later really means never. So do it now. Also, if you wait, your old limiting beliefs are going to start to tell you that you can do this alone. You don't need support. You don't have the time. You know about self-care. You don't have the money to do these types of things. These beliefs will try to keep you safe. What they think is safe. This is what paradigms do. This is what they're supposed to do. Real growth and change happen when you make a decision to change and you take the action step. So what this session is an opportunity for you to get some professional and complementary advice on how to move forward with your life. This is not an obligation to buy. If we decide at the end of the session that we're a good fit, we can talk about what that looks like. But the only obligation is that you show up and you're ready to dream. So let me end with this story. You may be familiar with the story of Jesus of Nazareth and the 12 disciples that went out into the boat on the Sea of Galilee. And Jesus appeared to them walking on water, and it freaked them all out. And Jesus invited them to step out of the boat and walk to him. And the disciples, they must have thought he's crazy. This becomes a metaphor for stepping out of our comfort zone and step onto the water of possibility. You see, there were 12 disciples in that boat, but Peter was the only one who had the courage to get out of that boat. Do you have the courage to get out of the life that you're living right now into the life that you're being called into? You see, this is where most people's dreams die. When it requires taking that step out of the old limiting beliefs and stepping into new unknown territory, going to the edge of the life that we've known. You see, Peter did step out. And as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus, who represents the possibility of something greater, his vision, his dream, a greater, freer, fuller, more expanded expression of life, he was fine. But as soon as Peter started looking at the water or the conditions around him, he sank. The same is true for us. As long as we keep our eyes on our vision, on the truth, instead of focusing on the conditions or the facts of our life, it will continue to pull us forward. But as soon as we start to focus on the conditions, we're going to sink. The most vulnerable place for your dream is right in this spot where you have a clear vision of what you want, but you're not living it yet. You're in the gap. And that's where having support and coaching is most critical. You see, Peter sank, but the thing that saved him is that he looked up and asked for help. He put his eye on his vision again and asked for support. You see, it takes courage to step out of the life that we've known and onto the water of possibility. And once we're there, focusing on our vision, the thing that got us out of the boat in the first place, and asking for support will help us move towards our dream. So I know that you get to schedule some time with me so I can help you get clear on your vision and how to navigate that gap. You have a beautiful dream. You wrote it down. Don't let it die here. This discovery session is valued at $250. This is your next action step. Let me get clear. There's no obligation to buy. There's an obligation to show up and be ready to dream. It's my gift to you. You are worthy. You're being called into this life. You are worthy of taking care of yourself, the self-care that you crave. You are needed. You are loved. It's been my honor and my privilege to share with you this today. I'll see you in a discovery session soon. Take care for now.